Same exact video yesterday. After over 100 likes and nearly 100 comments in just a few hours, the video was taken down by YouTube and I was given a strike. Jason Blaha has a very long and well-documented history of repeatedly abusing the YouTube copyright and harassment policy system. He spent nearly 20 years, if not more, creating socks and fake accounts and lying on various forums and, of course, YouTube itself. Jason has falsely taken down countless channels and videos criticizing him, and as most people know, he does this because he takes advantage of YouTube's extremely flawed system. Jason has made dozens, if not over 100 fake accounts since starting his first YouTube channel. This might seem unrealistic, but it really isn't if you dive deeper into his forum cell days, which most people aren't too informed on. Anyway, he mass flagged my video yesterday and got it taken down, which is pathetic but not unexpected. 9 times out of 10, YouTube will not change its mind during appeals, as there's too many to go through, so it's easier for them to just play God and stick with their decision. I highly doubt that they even watch my video. The appeal system is just like elections. They only exist to give people the illusion that they have any power in what's going on with their lives. YouTube is willing to sacrifice the vast majority of perfectly suitable videos if it means taking down the very few that actually violate their guidelines. Don't want to get the tiny hat advertisers upset. God forbid some people enjoy watching the occasional Blaha ment during their lunch breaks. This sucks because chances are this video will not receive the same amount of engagement it did previously. I hate doing this, but me and Vegeta are pretty much the only anti-Blaha creators that still post videos and consistently get thousands, if not tens of thousands of views. I know how much you guys are passionate about the Blaha verse, and I need you to help me out on this one. Please like and comment. You guys are the main reason I upload videos. On top of me also being a passionate Blaha head, Jason took this video of Dwight's down 3 or 4 times before it was able to stay up. It was the first video that really exposed Jason living with his murder-charged roommate. More on that later. Whenever a fresh ment of Jason's is initially exposed on YouTube, he goes extra hard into making sure it gets taken down because he thinks he stands a chance against the troll horde. He never learns. He did the same thing with the stolen valor thing back in the day. His entire...
Why does he even care? Okay, they figured out he's living with a fucking woman who got charged with murder. Who cares? Move on. It's so weird. This guy clearly has a severe case of narcissism if he gives a shit about some of this crap.
Entire life is about pretending to convince others that he's an actual functioning member of society. If this video gets taken down again, you'll know what happened to it. Jason is particularly sensitive about any video discussing Jen because it's his most embarrassing series of ments that hasn't reached the Blahaverse mainstream in an organized way. We can only do this together. Leave some comments roasting Jason, give him your worst. And with a few minor tweaks, hopefully this vid will stay up. Thank you guys, you're the best. I really appreciate you. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention that Jason went $45,000 into credit card debt paying for Jen's rent during the course of their relationship.
Yeah.
Thought I'd just throw this in here. What a simp.
Dude, that is retarded. My God.
Back to the video.
Say my name.
Hello, Ruby.
You're goddamn right.
Jason Blaha had a long-distance girlfriend named Jen Willett from late 2018 to mid-2022. Jen was a call girl who lived in Bloomington, Illinois. A call girl is a sex service where a girl will talk dirty to you over the phone in exchange for money. This relationship is a very important and underappreciated saga in the never-ending story of Jason Blaha, and until now was fully knowledgeable to only a few select people. Dwight Palmer, Jason's best bro, discovered Jen through sheer coincidence. Dwight was in contact with Ruby Sheree, and Jason had sent her a picture of Jen, mentioning she was his girlfriend. Dwight scrolled through one of Jason's former friends' Facebook followers list until he found Jen. He started messaging her, and she had a lot to say, and a lot of revenge to dish out to Blaha. All screenshots and video recordings of Dwight's back and forth with Jen will not be shared here, as it's in a private group chat and certain details are confidential. However, many of the things Jen shared are public information, and this video is meant to document all of them in a relatively simple manner. Trust me when I say that this woman is a full-fledged narcissist in her own right, and she wouldn't shut up about random, irrelevant bits of her personal life that didn't pertain to Jason. Dwight had a lot of patience when messaging her. This is easily my longest video, and I try to really keep things as short and concise as possible. Let's begin. According to Jen, not long after she got done doing Hurricane Michael recovery work in 2018, Jason, having been a Facebook friend, one day out of the blue, randomly asked for her advice over Messenger on how to choose his next girlfriend. No joke, you can see the grooming and manipulation from a mile away. Even though she was a bit weirded out, Jen invited him to get on a call, where apparently Jason talked about having broken up with Moon Cookie, that he was interested in someone else, and that he was really trying to convince Jen how much he hyperanalyzes women before dating them. The call eventually ended, of course, but Jen noted that Jason continued to contact her. He aggressively asked personal questions under the guise of being a concerned friend. At the time, Jen was broke after a failed frozen pizza business venture. She had racked up a lot of credit card debt, she was about to be evicted, and all the stress caused her health to take a downward spiral. Jason eagerly learned all of this and set his sights on another desperate woman he could coax into dating him. He kept pushing for Jen to be open to a relationship with him, which she kept turning down. She kept saying how emotionally wrecked she was and how she wasn't in any position to date at all. Jason responded with this direct quote, "I do not want to pressure you into anything, but I do think you need someone to be supportive of you right now, and I want to be here for you." Jesus Christ, I can feel the creepiness through the screen. Anyway, after some more Indian call center persistence on Jason's part, Jen realized he was the only way she wouldn't end up homeless, so she accepted the cuck's help. By the way, and this is very telling, Jen stated that both her and Blaha's combined income made up half of the average American household income, which is roughly $80,000. So cut that in half, you get $40,000, and cut that in another half, and you get Blaha's yearly income, $20,000. Yikes. 48 years old, guys.
Dude. Why is this guy going into $45K in credit card debt if he only makes $20K a year? Like, Blaha's a retard. Only a retard would do that. Like, he actually had that court case where the judge said he's mentally retarded. He got arrested for illegal possession of a firearm and I think marijuana with intent to sell. And when he was in court, the judge said he's literally retarded. And here's a guy who only makes $20K per year and he gets in $45K worth of credit card debt. How in the fuck does he even have a credit card that has that kind of limit? Like on my card, it has a $15K limit. They actually allowed me to raise it to, I think, $30K. But I just chose not to, like, just leave it at $15K. But, like, if he makes that little, who the fuck's giving him a credit card with that kind of limit?
Also, Jason was apparently constantly telling Jen how much of a born-again Christian he is, and how helping the less fortunate was just the kind of man he is. This is funny because as I'm reading the text messages, Jen does a very similar thing. She routinely talks about how charitable, intelligent, and misunderstood she is. Like, without being asked. She was desperate to convince Dwight how wonderful of a human being she is. She also said that she could walk into any room and have a number of men hit on her. What the fuck? How narcissistic is the Blaha verse? Very, very Bloach-like. Jen was very informative, however. It's obvious how much disdain she has towards Jason. She offered a lot of info without needing to be pushed. She said he has, quote, no internal moral compass. She said he's a narcissist. She said she has no reason to lie or exaggerate any of the things that happened between them because, quote, the truth about Jason is enough. It needs no embellishment. She claimed the supposed apology video he made in late 2018 only came as a result of her advising him to. She then went on to say the obvious, which is that it's entirely inauthentic and not genuine. Apparently, among Jason's legendary inner circle, he was constantly bragging about supporting Jen and making a spectacle out of it. This royally pissed her off and she made him stop doing it. She mentioned trying to make him a better person and how he resented it because, in his mind, any attention is positive attention, even if it's overtly negative. Jen said he hated being made less mentally ill. This is the kind of creature we're dealing with. This is the point in the conversation where Jen brings up Jason emotionally cheating on her with Ruby Sheree. As most of you know, Ruby is where this channel's name comes from. She's an entire mint saga in herself, which I'll save for a different day. All you need to know is that she was Facebook friends with Blaha for 10 years. And according to Jen, Ruby and Blaha were talking behind her back every single...
Whoa, I didn't know their relationship lasted 10 years. I thought this was a chick that he met like maybe over the course of a few months. Holy fuck. I guess that kind of explains why he was clearly so upset by that whole situation. Because this was a chick that he was trying to like manipulate for 10 fucking years and it fell through. Like all that effort he put in trying to manipulate her and shit.
Single day. Ruby lives in Australia and has never met Jason. I'm sure you've noticed a pattern of Jason being incapable of getting female attention in person. He's just too repulsive, even for your local strip club basement hooker who has to be propped up with a stick because she's about to pass out. Jen claims that Jason mentioned Ruby to her all the way back in the fall of 2018. Jason called her masculine and gross, and that even though everyone expects him and my beautiful Ruby to date, he wouldn't go after her. Jason said he wanted a feminine woman, obviously trying to insinuate to Jen that he wanted to be in a relationship with her. Jason also said that Ruby has a muscular clit and that she was just a fan. Jen speculates that he ended up going for her rectangular Australian body because he thought she could be more easily manipulated. She also said that Ruby wanted to use Jason's grifted fake internet fame to her advantage, maybe not realizing just how hated he really was, and she probably needed it. Look at her abysmal YouTube views. Can't even break 10 views on her videos. My beautiful Ruby just couldn't keep up. Cuckle. On a funny side note, apparently Ruby was cucked into a contract with Jason's social media disentanglement guru grifter friend, Ariel Ziegler. Yeah, one of the chosen people. Jen says that Ruby was contractual.
How does Jason know all of these weird ass fucking freaks? This person, she looks like a character out of a 1980s metal-themed horror movie.
Actually paying Ariel $1,000 a month in return for exploding her social media presence, even though she really couldn't afford it. Yeah, that clearly didn't pay off. I guess someone's got to fund my Ariel's third world escapades and desert rat orgies. Jen and Blaha broke up on May 23rd of 2022. His last text to her was, quote, "I still want to let you know, well, that I am a man of honor, so I will pay your last month's rent. We'll make sure you're taken care of for the next month because I am a man of honor." No doubt Jason was trying to plant the seeds for a potential second relationship with Jen in case things fell apart with Ruby, which it quickly did. Jen then says how Jason bought her a strap-on dildo to ass fuck him with, which she aggressively had to decline in order for him to stop asking her for.
Yeah, that's all true. This guy paid $45,000 for this chick's rent in the hopes that she would peg him. You cannot get more cucked than that.
Apparently he bought more than one, along with a prostate stimulator toy. I guess it's like an electronic butt plug. I'm not looking it up. This is where all the pegging jokes Jason gets come from, in case you were wondering. This is a quote from Jen. He wanted me to get him to ejaculate via prostate/pegging shit. Jen also mentioned that Jason wanted her to force him to blow the dildo. Give him that Uncle Mike special. She then went on to humiliate Jason on his lack of attractiveness and sexual performance. She claims that Jason never saw her nude, never, which apparently he bitched and moaned about. She claims she only gave him oral sex and always spit out his cum, never swallowed, because she thought he was disgusting. She claims that she was terrified of getting pregnant with his child. I guess Jason was too ashamed to tell her he would.
That's... How, like, if women think that of you, how do you even, like, get hard? Just knowing your sexual partner finds you absolutely repulsive. I don't understand how this guy even, like, gets aroused.
He was infertile. She made it very clear in her own words, he was never allowed to come in me. Jen continued by mentioning how Jason wanted to be submissive to her in the bedroom. Jen says that he would routinely call her queen and goddess, which she hated. He also wanted to eat his own cum out of her mouth, which she was disgusted by. His mangled, rotten teeth were also another point of revulsion for her.
Ew.
Jen made Blaha use straight white vinegar as mouthwash because his breath was so bad. Jen specifically said that Listerine was not powerful enough, and that he was missing roughly an eighth of his back teeth. She even went as far as to never take pictures with him because she was too embarrassed for anyone to know she was dating Jason Blaha. I can't blame her. Apparently he would walk and lounge around in her apartment completely naked, quote, all the fucking time, in full caps. She went on to detail what happened with Nova, Jason's dog that he killed. When Jason arrived in Illinois, he told Jen that Nova was sick prior to him leaving, and that he had a woman who'd occasionally check in on the dog. That woman, we later learned, is Jason's current roommate, Joni Sablatura, who is currently charged with murdering her boyfriend, Aaron Connor. Yes, you heard that right. Jason left a sick dog alone in his condo for a week straight, with a clearly unhinged lady who checked in on it once in a great while. In fact, or should I say, in fact, Jen said that Joni actually texted him during his stay, saying that Nova wasn't doing so well, which he promptly ignored. Once Jason finally got back to his condo, he told Jen that Nova was lying in a pool of his own bloody diarrhea. Jen claims that Jason saw Nova as a burden, a constant reminder of some stupid responsibility his adulterous ex had left him with. I'd probably hate my life too, if every time I looked at my dog, I was reminded of the non-stop interracial gangbangs my meth-addicted tranny girlfriend was receiving in the next room. It must be difficult when you're trying to fuck your girlfriend, and it feels like you're just humping the air.
Yes and Blaha, more like yes and Blaha.
I don't know. This is like so pathetic and sad. It's not even funny. Who are his parents' cousins? I don't know. I just don't understand how you can create something like Blaha and not be familially related. His parents have to be like actually related, like cousins or something. He's just such a... Yeah, it's just all recessive traits. Just nothing on him works properly. Like fucked up teeth, retarded brain, like bad genes, just all around.
And with all that said, Jason
Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
proceeded to throw Nova into a dumpster, body still warm. Truly a man of honor. Like the pathological
Yeah, Blaha really should be thrown out in the trash.
liar he is, Jason would blame Nova's death on a guy named Alex Rosen. When Alex was 18, he did an in-person prank interview with Jason and basically humiliated and scared the shit out of him. Even as a teenager, Alex both height and weight mocked Jason, and it was pretty clear how uncomfortable Jason was. Alex would later put up a bunch of flyers around Blaha's condo, flyers that warned Jason's neighbors of who they lived next to. Jason took Alex's visit as a convenient way to misdirect the blame he'd no doubt receive over Nova's completely preventable death. He claimed that Alex broke into his condo while he was off begging for peggings and poisoned Nova. This is obviously a lie, but if you want further proof, keep in mind that Jason told Jen that Nova was already sick prior to him leaving for Illinois. I guess this is as good a time as any to mention that Jason would visit Jen roughly 8 times a year during his deloads. We have all the flight logs, and he would always have to take 3 to 5 layovers just to get from Texas to Illinois because he was so broken in debt that he needed to save money any way he could. Jen then predicted Jason moving from Houston to Spring, Texas, which he eventually did. And then she mentioned Jason's alleged deathly fear of spiders. Apparently he nearly shit himself when he was visiting her place, and she was trying to catch a spider and put it outside. She then said that if you want to seriously freak him out, just send him a picture of a spider. I guess we'll all have to change our profile pics to spiders during the live streams. She also adamantly swears.
Wow.
Good air, he can hunt cockroaches for food.
I'd love to see that. Just Blaha living out on the street, just eating cockroaches. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dude, Blaha's so pathetic. He's even, like, terrified of spiders. Like, this guy's an actual bitch.
That he's 5'6", which isn't surprising. Jason is clearly a short man, and far from his annoyingly, constantly, painstakingly claimed height of 5'9". He gets mogged whenever he does go out in public, so nobody is shocked. Jen went on to explain Jason's complete lack of personal identity and how he just morphs into whatever his current girlfriend is like in order to impress them. Jason was a hippie, liberal, vegan, Greenpeace member when he was married to his second wife. He was a gun-touting Texas badass conservative with Moon Cookie, and he was a born-again Christian with Jen. She claims that he stole the "I sacrifice everything" line from her, as well as the born-again Christian grift. This is the end of the conversation. What is there to say? Emotional manipulation, peggings, vinegar mouthwash, Nova's untimely death. It never ends with this guy. Again, screenshots of this very lengthy conversation weren't posted in order to protect the integrity of the chat. Chat members can back me up on this in the comments. I hope this was informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.
That is fucking embarrassing, dude. I'm gonna subscribe to this channel.
But VG, aren't you afraid of spiders too?
No, I'm not afraid of spiders. I just think they're gross. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.